له يا سيد أنا رجعت على لبنان، أتمنى أنك ترجع كمان على لبنان.
قرار صادر من مجلس الجامعة تسمية حزب الله الإرهابي.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and these are today's top stories. Prime Minister Tamam Salam announces the implementation of a plan approved by Cabinet to resolve the country's 8-month waste crisis despite imminent measures. Hollywood actress and special envoy of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees Angelina Jolie arrives in Lebanon to mark the 5th anniversary of the eruption of the Syrian conflict. And the first Russian planes fly out of Syria at the start of a surprise withdrawal that diplomats hope will boost a new round of UN peace talks. A meeting that was chaired by Prime Minister Tamam Salam did not set the date for the implementation of a plan approved by the Cabinet to resolve the country's 8-month waste crisis despite imminent measures. Salam tasked the security forces with enforcing the temporary solution that calls for opening 3 landfills over fears that some parties would disrupt public order. Although the officials who attended the meeting that was held at the Grand Sarai did not agree on the 0 hour, the government's plan is calling for opening the Burj Hamoud landfill that lies north of Lebanon and Costa Brava, which is located south of the capital, within the next 2 days. They're expected to be open for 4 years pending a permanent solution. As for the Niamey landfill, it will be open for 2 months only to take in tens of thousands of tons of trash that have piled up around the country. Health Minister Wael Abu Faoud is saying that an agreement has been reached with hospitals to ensure that hazardous medical waste is treated properly and in accordance with health and safety standards. Under the agreement, hospitals will ensure that the medical waste they generate is sterilized before it is disposed, or they will be required to contract with waste treatment companies. Abu Faoud said this during a press conference. Hazardous medical waste has recently been discovered in a container belonging to Siklin, the waste contractor for Greater Beirut, according to Abu Faoud. The case will be referred to the judiciary for further investigation. Black bags, which contain medical waste from hospitals, are treated and therefore not hazardous, he clarified. Hollywood actress and special envoy for the UN High Commissioner for Refugees Angelina Jolie is in Lebanon to mark the 5th anniversary of the eruption of the Syrian conflict. She paid a visit to several Syrian refugee camps in the country, including those in the eastern Bekaa region of Saad Nail, where she gave a press conference under the pouring rain. Jolie had made a number of low-profile trips to Lebanon in her role as UNHCR envoy. Lebanon has struggled to deal with an influx of refugees that now represent a quarter of its 4 million strong population, and last year began making it harder for Syrian refugees to stay. Almost 4.3 million Syrians have fled civil war since 2011, and most remain in the region, mainly in Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey. Some 1.2 million are registered in Lebanon and about 630,000 in Jordan, most living outside formal refugee camps. The first Russian planes that flew out of Syria at the start of a surprise withdrawal that diplomats hope will boost a new round of UN-backed peace talks. UN peace envoy Staffan de Mistura described the Russian pullout as a significant development for the talks that began in Geneva on Monday. A group of Su-34 bombers and a Tu-154 transport plane left Moscow, base in Syria, headed for home, according to the Defense Ministry, a day after President Vladimir Putin ordered most of his forces out of the war-torn nation. Putin on Monday said Moscow's military goal had been on the whole completed some 5.5 months and 9,000 combat stories after the Kremlin launched its bombing campaign in support of Bashar al-Assad. Western leaders reacted cautiously to the announcement, with Moscow yet to specify a time frame for the withdrawal and set to maintain its air and naval base and advanced air defense systems in Syria. Coming up next, the cast of the hit Broadway show Hamilton, the musical biography about the orphan raised in the Caribbean, stars in the White House. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the 1620 o'clock news here on Future Television. 1 in 4 deaths worldwide are due to environmental factors like air, water, and soil pollution, as well as unsafe roads and workplace stress, according to the World Health Organization, also known as WHO. An estimated 12.6 million people died in 2012 as a result of living and working in unhealthy environments, 23% of all deaths reported globally, according to the new study. If countries do not take actions to make environments where people live and work healthy, millions will continue to become ill and die young. This is according to WHO Chief Margaret Chan, as she warned in a statement, where the report is defining environmental causes broadly, drawing links between a long line of environmental risk factors like pollution, chemical exposure, climate change, and ultraviolet radiation, as well as access to firearms and more than 100 diseases and injuries. Democratic presidential rivals Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders sought to energize voters on the eve of primaries in very important states. Clinton entreated supporters in North Carolina to get out and vote, taking a veiled swipe at Republican frontrunner Donald Trump. For his part, Sanders campaigned in St. Charles, Missouri, lashing out at a Republican governor in some of the primary states he said were responsible for suppressing voter turnout.
I know that none of this can happen unless we work together, unless we decide we'd rather be united than divided, unless we reject the kind of bluster and bigotry and bullying that is stalking our political system. I believe that's what Americans will do. I believe we are better than what we are hearing every night on television. The primary tomorrow is critical in this election season. North Carolina has a really important role to play, not only in the primary, but then in the general election. I am asking for your support. I would be honored to receive it. I hope to be your nominee, and then I will wage a campaign that tries to put America's interests first.
Now, it seems to me, when we have one of the lowest voter turnouts of any major country on earth, that we should be working hard to try to increase voter turnout, get more people to participate. But these Republican governors are political cowards. They are afraid of free and fair elections. The only way they think they can win elections is by denying people who might vote against them the right to vote. And I say to those cowards, if you don't have the guts to run in a free and fair election, get out of politics, get another job.
Presidential frontrunner Donald Trump read the Al Wilson song, "The Snake," likening the song's story of a tender-hearted woman who takes in a half-frozen snake only for it to betray her to the United States, taking in immigrants. Trump gave a dramatic reading of the song at his rally in Vienna, Ohio, on the eve of important primaries in 5 states.
We have a tremendous problem with terrorism, and we have a tremendous problem where, and I don't know if you agree with me, but we cannot let people into our country that we don't know who they are, what they are doing, where they are. They have no paperwork. We can't do it. And this is called the snake. A snake, snake, right? On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. Her pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Oh, well," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you." She wrapped him up all cozy in a curvature of silk, and then laid him by the fireside with honey and some milk. Now she stroked his pretty skin, and then she kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bit me. Heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
The cast of the hit Broadway show Hamilton, the musical biography about the orphan raised in the Caribbean who rose to become America's first Secretary of the Treasury, performed at the White House at the invitation of U.S. President Barack Obama. The Obamas have declared themselves big fans of the hit musical and invited local high schoolers and aspiring performers to watch a selection of songs from the show. The White House performance marks a return home of sorts for the show's creator, Latino performer and composer Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Hamilton has become a phenomenon, a smash hit, taken Broadway by storm, captivating the entire country, winning tons of awards, turned musical haters into diehard fans. It has become a favorite in the Obama household. That was the First Lady. Hooting. Was that Grandma who did it? In fact, Hamilton, I'm pretty sure, is the only thing that Dick Cheney and I agree on. The show reminds us that this nation was built by more than just a few great men, and that it is an inheritance that belongs to all of us. And that's why Michelle and I wanted to bring this performance to the White House, because Hamilton is not just for people who can score a ticket to a pricey Broadway show. It is a story for all of us and about all of us.
The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed him in charge of a trading charter.
And every day while slaves were being slaughtered and carted away across the waves, he struggled and kept his guard up. Inside he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter.
Then a hurricane came and devastation reigned. Our man saw his future dripping down the drain. Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain. Well, the word got around, they said this kid is insane, man. Took up a collection just to send him to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man?
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait, just you wait.
When he was 10, his father split, full of it, debt-ridden. 2 years later, see Alex and his mother bedridden, half dead, sitting in their own sick, the scent thick.
Alex got better, but his mother went quick. Moved in with the cousin committed suicide, left it.
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. Prime Minister Tamam Salam announces the implementation of a plan approved by Cabinet to resolve the country's 8-month crisis, despite imminent measures which will begin soon. Hollywood actress and special envoy for the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Angelina Jolie, arrives in Lebanon to mark the 5th anniversary of the eruption of the Syrian conflict. And the first Russian planes fly out of Syria at the start of a surprise withdrawal that diplomats hope will boost a new round of UN-backed peace talks. Those are your Tuesday headlines live on Future Television. We'll catch you again tomorrow for all the latest. Have a good one.
بقول له يا سيد أنا رجعت على لبنان، أتمنى إنك ترجع كمان على لبنان.
قرار صادر من مجلس الجامعة تسمية حزب الله الإرهابي.